Give a brief introduction about yourself.
So I'm Chandrajyoti Singh. Considering my parents were in the Indian Army, I traveled to a number of cities and spent my childhood in Lucknow, New Delhi, Jalandhar and Chandigarh being some of them. I eventually came to Delhi to pursue my graduation in history from St. Stephen's College. I graduated in 2018 and thereafter I've been preparing for civil services.
So this is your first attempt at civil services.
Yes.
Chandrajyoti, you have studied history. Why there are so many interpretations of history? Facts remain the same, events remain the same, but interpretation changes.
So the historians who are studying these facts and collating them with archaeological evidence have different ideologies, and they understand what they have read about the facts and the archaeological evidence that is presented to them in different ways. So accordingly, they write in their own way. So that is why we have different interpretations of history.
Is it proper to have different interpretations in history?
So one event can be interpreted by different people in different manners. But if we focus on the facts, then the facts remain the same. So we should focus on the facts.
Which school of historiography has impressed you?
So for me, the Nationalist School of Historiography, I really like that school of historiography. And also, sir, the Marxist School of Historiography to a certain extent.
So, but they're two differently...
Yes, sir, but if you put them together, it provides the whole picture, which is why I like to read the two of them together.
So, you have interest in nationalistic interpretation of history. So, which part of history or which incident of history has really impressed you?
So, from Indian history?
From Indian history, yeah.
So there are a lot of events in Indian history, especially if we consider our freedom struggle for independence. Starting with the non-cooperation movement with the leadership of Gandhiji, thereafter I really like that part of history.
Suppose you get into the civil services, then which aspects of history will really help you in discharging your duties as a civil servant?
So I think studying history is extremely important for an administrator, because if you do not learn from the mistakes of the past, you're condemned to repeat them. So I think I will learn from whatever has happened in our past and try to learn from those mistakes and not repeat them as an administrator. In that sense, history would help me.
It is generally said history repeats itself. What does it mean?
So what scholars basically mean when they say history repeats itself is that there is a sense of a repetition. The social events, the economic events or the political events might be the same once again. And if we do not take the requisite measures to resolve certain issues, then those problems may arise again. So in that.
Okay, one last question from me. In her budget speech, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman had said that a task force will be constituted to recommend an appropriate age for women in India to become mother. What is the background of this?
So I feel that this comes in the context of the fact that many girls are married at a very young age, and as a result, they become mothers also at a young age. So it has two major impacts. Firstly, for the woman herself, she is not mentally ready, or she may not even be physically ready to have a child. So that impacts her capabilities as a mother, as a member of the society itself. And secondly, sir, she may have certain dreams for her own self, which are crushed because she's married at a young age, and then she has to look after the family.
So suppose you are basically advocating increasing the age of marriage. This is what I could understand from you. So today the age is 18 years for female. So what should be the age for marriage and why?
So I think I wouldn't say that I would specifically recommend an increase in the age for marriage. But 18 years, I think, is the time when someone is mentally mature, physically mature. We should, rather than just increasing the age, ensure that it is implemented properly, that women are not being married at a younger age than 18.
But there is a context behind it. I think if you have observed it closely, you would have found out that the Supreme Court of India had passed a judgment on this, and the issue was the marital rape. In that context, this issue was referred to the government.
Yes, sir.
So don't you think that raising the age of marriage will help the country in many ways? Apart from one, you said that aspirations of female, they are not fulfilled if they are married at a younger age. Apart from that, what other benefits, if the age is increased, will come to the country?
So I feel if the age is increased for marriage, if it has to be done, then I feel that women will be able to be better mothers to their children. We will, since they are the ones who are replenishing the workforce of our nation, they will be able to make the right choices for their children because they will have grown up in terms of age, and they will be able to make better choices. Secondly, I think women will be more educated if they become mothers at a later age because they will be able to pursue their college education and so on. So I think the more educated a mother is, she will definitely be interested in her own child's education. So I think the country will become more educated as such if the age is increased.
Will it have any impact on population?
Yes, sir. I think it will have an impact on population because when a woman is educated and she gets married at a later age, she plans for her family. So if she only raises the number of children she is comfortable with, and she may even be able to restrain certain pressure from family she's married into, because she can make them understand the consequences of raising one child, or maybe if she wants to raise two children. So I think she will be able to have greater say in her life.
Okay, thank you.
Chandra Jyoti, it has almost become a ritual to observe International Women's Day on 8th of March, and in my opinion, it has not borne any result. What is your take?
So I think the history of International Women's Day, which is celebrated on March 8, comes from Russia, wherein women took out a march in the early 19th century, asking for rights, especially of workers' rights and women workers' rights. So I think it is celebrated on March 8th because of that.
Yeah. So it has made any impact in India as far as women's empowerment is concerned?
So celebration of...
It is merely a celebration, nothing more than that. What is your opinion?
Sir, I don't think it's merely a celebration. I feel that India has taken numerous strides in women's empowerment since our independence, starting with the abolition of child marriage, Dowry Prohibition Act, and all of these changes have taken place which have given more rights to women and empowered them. So I feel that we have taken certain steps.
Do you think that women, they have really become empowered?
So in our nation, there are widespread inequalities as such. Even so, if we look at women, there may be women in urban areas coming from certain families who are encouraged by their families, the society that they live in, to pursue their dreams. So in this context, they become empowered. But at the same time, in rural areas, there are many women who are not able to have a say in their own life. So I would say that the answer to your question is both yes and no. There are disparities in the nature of empowerment that women have.
So what is the literacy rate in Delhi?
So of women?
Yes.
So I'm not sure of the figure.
And UP?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, you don't have the idea. No problem. You have been a student of history, and that is from St. Stephen's College. Can you recall the name of Delhi, 7 cities of Delhi?
Yes, sir.
Yes, tell me.
So the first city was Lalkot. So, but if we look at mythological times, many people consider Indraprastha also as one of the cities of Delhi. Then comes Lalkot. Then we have the Siri Fort that was established by Alauddin Khilji. Then we have Tughlaqabad. Then we have Shahjahanabad, and then we come to the New Delhi. I'm forgetting some cities.
No problem. We do have certain organizations during ancient period. Can you recall?
So organization?
Urbanizations.
So the first urbanization that took place was the Indus Valley civilization that was in the northwest part of the subcontinent. After that, the second urbanization took place in the Indo-Gangetic plains. So after that, the civilization began spreading to the Deccan areas. And beyond the Deccan,
Then third urbanization.
beyond, that took place in the southern parts of the subcontinent. The Cholas, Cheras, Pandyas, Pallavas form that part.
So what is the significance of third urbanization?
So the significance of the third urbanization lies in the fact that agriculture spread to these areas. As such, societies emerged and kingship societies began emerging in these areas. There was a transition from pastoral societies.
Now you had good trading contact with Rome and
Yes,
other
sir.
areas, Southeast Asia.
Yes.
Do you have any idea?
Yes, sir. So there is evidence because the Roman navigators, they discovered the concept of monsoon. Therefore, trade with India became easier. So from the time of Augustus, who was the ruler of Rome, we see that there were trade contacts with Rome. And it is said that India was a sink for gold. India was a sink for the world's gold at that time because Romans began importing large amounts of goods
Pliny
from
had
India.
also made
Yes, sir,
certain
Pliny the Elder.
comment.
Yeah.
What was that comment? That's a very important historic comment as such, because that shows something about our balance of trade.
So it was regarding the fact that all of Roman
Achha,
gold.
tell me one thing, right to internet service, that is fundamental right?
Yes, sir.
How can you say that? We do have just 6 or 7 fundamental rights.
Sir, under Article 19, we have freedom of expression. So in that sense, a right to internet, to access information there and to air our opinions on the social media or any other platform on the internet becomes a fundamental right in that sense.
Just yesterday, your information broadcasting minister or law minister also said that it is not a fundamental right. What is your take?
So I would still say that it is a
It's
fundamental.
a fundamental. And what about Public Safety Act?
So I'm not.
You have not heard about Public Safety Act in context of Jammu and Kashmir?
So I do not have the details regarding that.
There is no Jyoti in Chandra of its own. Why your parents named you Chandra Jyoti?
Sir, it was my grandmother's name, so my father decided to name me after her, to honor her.
Okay, so should I assume that you'll not only be reflecting the Jyoti of your parents and grandparents, you'll have some Jyoti of your own?
Yes.
Chandjyoti, both your parents are with armed forces. Well, your mother is probably retired, and both of them were with the medical field. Tell me, do you believe that there exists a glass ceiling effect when it comes to women in high positions? And do you believe that it exists even in armed forces?
So I will agree that there is a glass ceiling that exists for women, especially if they have to rise up to higher positions of authority. So in the armed forces, earlier, before the 1992, women were only given commission for the medical fields. After that, in 1992, women were given short service commission for 15 years. So that one can consider that that sort of broke the glass ceiling a little bit. After that, sir, women again petitioned the government, and now women have had can complete their full service even after 15 years. They can seek extension of service. But still, sir, today in our country, the general of the chief of armed forces cannot be a woman. So, sir, I feel that
when do we can expect a chief of army and, if possible, the CDS being a woman? A timeline.
So I feel that firstly, to achieve that, a general is someone who has to have a knowledge of military strategy. So I feel that when women are able to enter combat roles in the Indian Army, they will be able to showcase their strengths in the fields of strategy and planning for war and others.
For this, we as a professional force will have to change, or the very nature of combat that is being changing right now can also actually enhance the possibility of women becoming chiefs earlier.
So I feel it is both will help in women attaining higher positions in the Indian Army. I feel that as a society,